Good afternoon, dear children. Let us continue the lesson motion in a plane. Okay, last class we have discussed about one important topic, that is the projectile motion, where we have derived the expressions for time of flight, the maximum height and horizontal range. Okay, all of you learned that thing? Okay, next we are going to discuss about uniform circular motion. It is also very important topic, uniform circular motion. Okay, you heard about circular motion. What is meant by circular motion? The motion of an object along a circular path, that is actually called the circular motion. The motion of an object along a circular path, that is called the circular motion. Okay, if in a circular motion, suppose if the speed of an object that remains constant, then that circular motion is called the uniform circular motion. Isn't it? If in a circular motion, if the speed of an object or a particle that remains constant, then that circular motion is called the uniform circular motion. Okay, actually this means that when an object moves in a circular path, it covers equal distances in equal intervals of time along the circumference of the circle. Okay, here the object moves along the circular path, it covers equal distances in equal intervals of time along this circumference of the circle. That is why the speed remains a constant. Okay, and that type of motion is called the uniform circular motion. Listen it. And here this type of motion is actually a two-dimensional motion, because the circular motion takes place in a plane. Okay, it is confined to a plane. So it is an example for two-dimensional motion. Isn't it? Then can you say an example for uniform circular motion? Actually, the motion of tip of the second hand of a clock. Okay, the motion of tip of the second hand of a clock, and also the rotation of fan leaf, then the motion of a point on the rim of a rotating wheel. The motion of a point on the rim of a rotating wheel. These are examples for uniform circular motion. Isn't it? And here the uniform circular motion is actually an accelerated motion. Why we can say the uniform circular motion is an accelerated motion. Okay, uniform circular motion is a accelerated motion. You know, in uniform circular motion, the speed of an object that remains constant, but at every point the direction of motion changes. Okay, in uniform circular motion, the speed of an object remains constant, but at every point of its motion, the direction of motion changes. Listen it. So, the velocity of an object also changes. Okay, you know, suppose there is two conditions for the change of for the velocity to occur. That is, if the speed changes, there is a change in velocity, or the direction of motion changes, there is a change in velocity, or both the speed and direction of motion, there is a change of velocity. Here the speed remains constant, but the direction of motion changes. So the velocity of the particle also changes. Okay, the velocity of the particle also changes. You know, any change in velocity that causes an acceleration. Any change in velocity that causes an acceleration. Listen it. And here, due to the change of velocity, the object gets accelerated. Here, due to the change of velocity, the object gets accelerated. So we can say the uniform circular motion is an accelerated motion. Here, the uniform circular motion is an accelerated motion. Okay. Next, about angular displacement, theta. Angular displacement, actually it is represented by theta. Okay, suppose a particle that moves along a circle of radius r. Here a particle that moves along a circular path of radius r. At a time t, the object, that particle changes its position from A to B. Okay, we imagine that during the time t, that particle changes its position from A to B. Listen to it. By making an angle theta. Okay, so we can write the angular displacement theta as arc by this arc length, that is arc AB divided by radius. Okay, angular displacement is equal to this arc AB divided by radius, and this arc length, that is represented by letter L. So the angular displacement theta equal to L divided by r. Angular displacement theta, that is equal to L divided by r. Then actually what is angular displacement? Actually the angle which the radius vector sweeps out. Radius vector sweeps out in a given interval of time. Actually this is the radius vector. Okay, after a time t, it sweeps to the new position B. So it covers an angle of theta. That is actually the angular displacement. Okay, so angular displacement is the angle which the radius vector sweeps out. The angle which the radius vector sweeps out in a given interval of time. Okay, what is angular displacement? It is the angle which the radius vector sweeps out in a given interval of time. Listen it. It is the angle which the radius vector sweeps out in a given interval of time. Then what is equation for angular displacement? Angular displacement is equal to actually arc length by radius. Angular displacement equal to arc length by radius. So we can say angular displacement theta equal to L divided by r. Angular displacement theta is equal to what? L divided by r. That is about what? Angular displacement. And next about the angular velocity. Angular velocity. Actually it is represented by omega. Angular velocity omega. Okay, you already know what is velocity actually. It is what is velocity in straight line motion. We have already learned about velocity. Actually it is the rate of change of displacement. Rate of change of displacement is called what? Actually velocity. Actually here it is angular velocity. So angular velocity is the rate of change of angular displacement. Okay, in straight line motion we call just velocity, simply as velocity. But in the case of circular motion, instead of velocity we have to call this as angular velocity. Okay, so angular velocity is the rate of change of what? Angular displacement. Angular displacement is theta. Angular displacement is theta. Rate of change of means what? Theta, the change in angular displacement per unit time. Okay, the change in angular displacement per unit time, that is in time t, isn't it? So angular velocity omega equal to, we can write theta by t. Angular velocity omega equal to theta by t. Also we can write it as delta theta by delta t for a small change. Delta theta by delta t. Also we can write d theta by dt. Okay, any equation you can use. Either we can use omega equal to theta by t, or omega equal to delta theta by delta t, or omega equal to d theta by dt. Listen it, that is actually angular velocity. Okay, you know the unit of angular displacement. Actually the unit of angular displacement is radian. The unit of angular displacement is radian. Okay, the unit of angular displacement is actually radian. And here the unit of angular velocity is angular displacement by time. So we can say radian per second. Radian per second is the unit of angular velocity. Okay, what is the unit of angular displacement? It is radian. And the unit of angular velocity is radian per second. Okay, what is angular velocity? It is the rate of change of angular displacement. Rate of change of angular displacement is called angular velocity omega. And what is its relation? Actually omega equal to theta by t, or we can write delta theta by delta t, or we can write delta d theta by dt. Then what is the unit of angular displacement? It is radian. Then what is the unit of angular velocity? Radian per second. Radian per second. Isn't it? Next we can see what is time period. Next is actually time period. Okay, suppose if an object is in circular motion, actually time period is the time taken to complete one revolution. Suppose if it starts from A, then like this, when again it reaches A, it completes one revolution. Okay, that time is actually called the time period. Time taken to complete one revolution. Okay, the time taken to complete one revolution is called the time period. Actually, it is represented by capital T. Okay, and its unit is measured in second. The time period is measured in second. Okay, what is time period? Time taken to complete one revolution. around a circular path, that is called the time period. It is represented by the letter capital T and its unit is second. Okay, next is frequency. Next is actually frequency. Okay, actually frequency is the number of revolutions made in 1 second. In 1 second, how much revolution is made by the revolving particle or revolving object, that is called the frequency. Or you can say the number of revolutions per unit time. The number of revolutions per unit time is called the frequency. What is frequency? Number of revolutions per unit time is called the frequency. Actually, it is represented by the letter nu. This read as nu. Okay, the frequency is represented by nu. Okay, and its unit is actually hertz. The unit of frequency is actually hertz. Frequency is measured in hertz. Okay, the number of revolutions in revolutions per minute, that is called the frequency. Listen to it. And here we have a relation between time period and frequency. Okay, we have a relation between time period and frequency. That is, time period is equal to reciprocal of frequency. Time period equal to reciprocal of frequency. Also we can write frequency is the reciprocal of time period. Okay, that is the time period T equal to 1 by nu or the frequency nu equal to 1 by T. That is the relationship between frequency and time period. What is the relationship between frequency and time period? T equal to 1 by nu or nu equal to 1 by T. Okay, that is about angular velocity, then time period and frequency. Next, the relationship between angular velocity, frequency and time period. Okay, we are going to derive the relationship between angular velocity omega, then frequency nu and time period t. Listen to it. Suppose the particle completes 1 revolution around the circular path. When the particle completes 1 revolution around the circular path, the time taken, that is equal to the time period t. The time taken is equal to the time period t, and the angular displacement. What is the angular displacement? Actually, it is 2 pi radian. Okay, when it completes 1 revolution. Okay, what is the angular displacement? 360 degree, which can be written as 2 pi radian. Listen it. So, when time t equal to t, the angular displacement theta equal to 2 pi radian. Listen it. And you know the angular velocity is equal to angular displacement by time. Angular velocity is equal to angular displacement by time. Here, angular velocity omega equal to angular displacement is theta and time t. Then omega instead of theta we can write 2 pi. 2 pi. Then instead of small t, it is actually the time period. So we got omega equal to 2 pi by t. Omega equal to 2 pi by t. But you know 1 by t equal to the reciprocal of time period, that is equal to the frequency nu. So it can be written as 2 pi nu. Okay, so the relation is actually omega equal to 2 pi by t is equal to 2 pi nu. That is the relation between angular velocity, frequency and time period. Here, when the particle completes 1 revolution, the time taken to complete 1 revolution is the time period t. So the time is equal to time period capital T, and the angular displacement is actually 360 degree, which can be written as 2 pi radian. Then angular velocity equal to angular displacement by time. So omega equal to theta by t. Then if theta is actually 2 pi, then instead of time we have to write the time period t. So omega equal to 2 pi by t. But 1 by t, you know what is 1 by t? 2 pi 1 by t is the frequency nu. So instead of 1 by t we can write frequency nu. That is equal to 2 pi nu. So the angular velocity is equal to 2 pi by t or 2 pi nu. Next, we are going to derive the relationship between angular velocity and linear velocity. Listen to the relation between angular velocity and linear velocity. Suppose a particle moves along a circular path of radius r. Suppose a particle that moves along a circular path of radius r, and during the time delta t, that particle moves from A to B and covers a distance of delta s. Listen to it. Okay, when the particle moves from A to B, when the particle moves from A to B, it covers a distance of delta S during the time delta t. Okay, during the time delta t. Then the angular displacement delta theta. Here we represent the angular displacement as delta theta. You know what is angular displacement? You know this arc length by radius. Arc length by radius. Here the arc length is represented as delta S. Then radius is r. Okay, here we are assuming that a particle moves along a circular path of radius r, and here when the particle moves from A to B, it covers a distance of delta S during the time delta t and certain angle delta theta. So the angular displacement delta theta can be written as delta S by r. Arc length by radius. Arc length is delta S, that divided by radius is r. Isn't it? Next, dividing both sides by delta t. So we can write delta theta by delta t is equal to 1 by r delta S by delta t. Okay, dividing on both sides by delta t. Listen it. So we got delta theta by delta t is equal to 1 by r delta S by delta t. Next we are taking a limit, then applying limit delta t tends to 0. We have to apply this limit to both sides. Limit delta t tends to 0. That means this time interval approaches 0. Okay, so we can write limit delta t tends to 0. Delta theta by delta t is equal to 1 by r limit delta t tends to 0 delta S by delta t. Okay, when the time interval approaches 0, delta theta by delta t, that takes the form d theta by dt. That thing we already learned. D theta by dt, and here 1 by r. When limit delta t tends to 0, delta S by delta t, that takes the form ds by dt. ds by dt. Okay, here d theta by dt, that represents the rate of change of angular displacement. D theta by dt, that represents the rate of change of angular displacement. Actually that is equal to angular velocity omega. Angular velocity omega, that is 1 by r. ds by dt, you know, rate of change of displacement. What is rate of change of displacement? That is the velocity v. So omega equal to 1 by r into v. From that v is equal to r omega. V is equal to r omega. That is linear velocity is equal to radius into angular velocity. Linear velocity is equal to radius into angular velocity. So we have the relation between angular velocity and the linear velocity as v is equal to r omega. V represents the linear velocity and omega represents the angular velocity and r represents the radius. Okay, and here we are considering a particle that moves along a circular path of radius r. When the particle moves from A to B, it covers a distance of delta x during the time interval delta theta. Then the angle delta theta can be during the time interval delta t. So the angular displacement delta theta can be written as this arc length by radius, that is delta s by r. And here next we divided both sides by delta t. So delta theta by delta t is equal to 1 by r delta s by delta t. Next we are applying a limit. Limit delta t tends to 0 on both sides. So here limit delta t tends to 0. Delta theta by delta t is equal to 1 by r. Limit delta t tends to 0. Delta s by delta t. When delta t approaches 0, delta theta by delta t, that takes the form d theta by dt into 1 by r, and here it is ds by dt. You know d theta by dt is the rate of change of angular displacement, that is equal to the angular velocity omega. Then 1 by r, what is ds by dt? Rate of change of displacement, that is the linear velocity v. So we got omega equal to 1 by r into v. From here we can write v is equal to r omega. V is equal to R omega. That is the relationship between angular velocity and linear velocity. That is, linear velocity is equal to angular velocity into radius. Okay. Next about angular acceleration. Angular acceleration. Okay, actually it is represented by alpha. Angular acceleration is represented by alpha. Actually it is the rate of change of angular velocity. The rate of change of angular velocity is called the angular acceleration. Let delta omega, that represents angular velocity, change in angular velocity during the time delta t. Okay, delta omega, that represents the change in angular velocity during the time delta t. Then the angular acceleration alpha can be written as delta omega by delta t. Delta omega by delta t. Then we are applying limits. That is, limit delta t tends to 0. Delta omega by delta t, that takes the form d omega by dt. Okay, that is, when we apply limits to delta omega by delta t, that is equal to d omega by dt. So angular acceleration is equal to, either we can write d omega by dt or we can write delta omega by delta t. Okay, and here the unit of angular acceleration is radian per second square. Radian per second square is the unit of angular acceleration. The unit of angular acceleration is radian per second square. Okay, then what is angular acceleration? It is the rate of change of angular velocity with the time. Rate of change of angular velocity with the time. Let delta omega represents the change in angular velocity during the time delta t. Then angular acceleration alpha equal to delta omega by delta t. Then applying limits, limit delta t tends to 0. Delta omega by delta t is equal to d omega by dt. Alpha equal to d omega by dt. Then what is the unit of angular acceleration? It is radian per second square. Next, the relation between linear acceleration and angular acceleration. Relation between linear acceleration and angular acceleration. Okay, we know the relationship between linear velocity and angular velocity as v is equal to r omega. V is equal to r omega. Then next we are going to differentiate with respect to time. Okay, so differentiating v, we will get dv by dt. dv by dt, that is equal to r into d omega by dt. That is, dv by dt is equal to r into d omega by dt. dv by dt, you know, rate of change of velocity is acceleration a. A is equal to r into, you know, rate of change of angular velocity. What is rate of change of angular velocity? That is angular acceleration. So alpha. So A equal to R alpha. That is the relationship between linear acceleration and angular acceleration. That is, linear acceleration is equal to angular acceleration into radius. Linear acceleration equal to angular acceleration into radius. Have you got it? And here we have the relation linear velocity v is equal to r omega. Okay, v is equal to r omega. Then we have to differentiate both sides with respect to time dt. So when differentiating v, we will get dv by dt, that is equal to r into, while differentiating omega, we will get d omega by dt. But dv by dt, we know the rate of change of velocity, that is acceleration a, that is equal to r into d omega by dt. You know, rate of change of angular velocity, that is angular acceleration alpha. So linear acceleration is equal to angular acceleration into radius, that is a equal to r alpha. That is the relationship between linear acceleration and angular acceleration. Next, about centripetal acceleration. Centripetal acceleration. You know, when an object in uniform circular motion, the speed remains constant, but due to the change of direction of motion, the velocity changes and an acceleration is produced. And this acceleration is always towards the center along the radius of the circular path. And this acceleration is called the centripetal acceleration. Okay, then what is centripetal acceleration? The acceleration acted upon a object in uniform circular motion. Okay, that is called the centripetal acceleration. The acceleration produced on an object when it is in uniform circular motion, that is called the centripetal acceleration. Then what is the direction of this centripetal acceleration? It always acts along the radius and towards the center. Actually, it is center seeking. That is the meaning of centripetal, center seeking. Its direction is always towards the center along the radius. That is actually the centripetal acceleration, and we have the expression for centripetal acceleration as A equal to B square by R. A is equal to B square by R, that is in terms of linear velocity, and in terms of angular velocity the centripetal acceleration is omega square R. Okay, so we have a two relation for centripetal acceleration. It is A is equal to B square by R, or we can write A is equal to omega square R. Okay, A equal to B square by R, where V is the linear velocity and R is the radius of the circular path. And A equal to omega square R, where omega represents the angular velocity, R represents the same radius. Isn't it? That is the end of today's class, and also we have finished the lesson. Study well, children. Next class we can do problems. Okay, thank you, children.